Hello everyone, I'm Johnny Bairstow from Future Net Zero, and today I'm talking with Nico and Matthias from ENGIE Impact about a new tool that they've helped develop that's going to help businesses and their customers deliver net zero. So Nico, first of all, could you just tell us a little about who you are and what you do, and then we'll ask Matthias the same.
Sure. So my name is Nico Lefebvre-Martin. I lead the sustainability solutions team at ENGIE Impact, focused on the EMEI region, so Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India. Sustainability solutions is really the consulting advisory arm of ENGIE Impact. So really partnering with large corporations, cities, municipalities on all the tools, methodologies, financing, digital capabilities to help accelerate the transformation to net zero. That's what we do.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Matthias, if you could let us know a little bit about your background.
Sure. So my name is Matthias Lelièvre. I'm the CEO of ENGIE Impact. And as Nico was saying, we really are a global company inside the ENGIE group. We are the sustainability consulting arm of ENGIE, and really focusing on helping our clients from strategy to implementation to deliver on their net zero ambition.
Perfect. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about a new tool that you've developed. I'm not sure who wants to take this, but could someone briefly explain what the tool is and what it sets out to achieve?
You know, when you look at this type of net zero transformation we're talking about, and the way we support corporates across the globe, the question of the measurement, the quality of what you measure and what you want to see, you know, getting to net zero at the end of the day is paramount. And so you need to put that under control, and that's really where we engage. And it goes across, you know, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions for organizations. And then you need to have a good understanding of where you start, what's your baseline, and then what type of levers and action you need to take, and how do you put all of that under control in a systemic way at the level of a company, so that you actually see the actions put in place and the programs implemented. And you know, along that journey, supporting ENGIE Group in its own ambition, we realized that there was kind of I would say, a miss in the overall science around carbon, with no internationally recognized standards and ways to credibly measure and claim a contribution from the product and the services you deliver to the clients and to the market about how much that is helping decarbonize. And that's where really it started. And obviously, you know, what is very important is like we felt like there was a need to help develop something that would be recognized and that would be shared, and that would be kind of an open source new methodology that would really be adopted not only just by ENGIE, but by the rest of the world, hopefully at the end of the day, to really help and put some rigor around this notion. And so we've really been working with this idea in mind. And then, you know, like everything else in the business world, you want to be able to measure so that you can give yourself a way to express an ambition, and that you can drive then the behaviors, you can drive the way you think about your product, your services, the way you go to market differently. And so we felt that it was an important piece that, you know, we needed to bring something additional. And that was obviously, you know, driven by the idea that ENGIE not only wanted to go net zero on its own emissions, because you still need to do the job by yourself, but then also thinking about, hey, is there a way on top of that, to express a contribution to the decarbonization of clients?
Yeah, I completely agree that you need to know where you stand, where a business stands before it can take any action. It needs to know the ground that it's standing on before it can actually do any work to reduce emissions. So I completely understand the intent of developing the tool. Nicholas, I don't suppose you could talk us through kind of what the tool looks like and how it works in practice?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fundamentals of the tool are actually not new. This is a concept which has been around for a long time. It's called avoided emissions, oftentimes, but it's never really been crystallized in something which is usable, scalable, accessible, importantly, for businesses, so that you don't need to be a climate expert or a policy geek to actually be able to use it, so that business developers, regular leaders can really embrace the tool. So what we did was to try to crystallize the literature on this into fundamental principles for measuring the decarbonization of clients, as we call it. These are pretty common sense, but these are really important because they set the bedrock for then you can develop guidelines product by product, which you can start then industrializing in your own company. So these principles, which we laid out in an article that was published a few weeks ago, really are that bedrock. And then what we did with ENGIE is to translate those principles into specific guidelines for all of the list of products and services that ENGIE develops. And then we went one step further, is develop an actual tool, which was what you were referring to, which is a digital tool to help really, again, in the spirit of scaling and automating that process, so that we can start systematically measuring the decarbonization impact of all of our products and services as we go to market. And so it's a great communication tool for our clients. It's really empowering for them to know, what exactly they're getting and what impact that will get. It's also a great tool internally because it really also allows, gives new information and knowledge to our teams within ENGIE. So it was a really a very important device and concept for us.
And you've both mentioned there that ultimately the tool aims to help businesses but decarbonize, but not just businesses, their entire supply chains as well. Why is that so important for businesses to start thinking about and start doing?
Well, I think the concepts of covering much more than just the emissions at the frontier of your organization is not new, right? I mean, the scope 3, when you cover the scope 3 emissions, you already kind of go in the supply chain. I think here what was interesting was indeed to put some transparency, rigor around those principles when you talk about the impact of what you put on your market for your clients. And that's where, there were a work that is really needed to continue to get to those standards, methodologies and ways of thinking about it. And that's why also from day one, we did not, we made the choice not to work alone as ENGIE, but to involve different, industrial partners and work with some, different experts in France and globally, particularly from the WBCSD, as we felt that, right away we had that vision that, it's not about developing something just for us as a group, ENGIE Group, but really about trying to provide something new to the world to continue to drive impact. So that was the fundamental reason. And then, overall, I think it's well documented that, the reason why a company needs to think outside of the boundaries of its just scope 1 and 2 emissions is that, you need to be able to be very systemic on this matter because of the complexity of the value chains and of your supply chain, and then obviously the way you are able to talk about your products and services on the market.
Do you think it's going to become increasingly important for businesses to remain competitive by making sure that, all of the deals they have with their value chains are kind of aligned with net zero?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear. We see it already today, right? I mean, it's very well documented that the investors are taking, a much closer look as to the carbon performance of their portfolios, and it's getting increasingly more stringent. First, it was about disclosure. Now it's about actions, and then it's going to be about going deeper and deeper and deeper. Clients and customers are becoming more and more demanding about their partners to make sure that they only partner with companies which have these ambitions. And so I think little by little, it's going to seep into everything that we do and go from company level to products and services. So being able to really measure the impact of everything that we do, the same way that we do from a financial standpoint, from a carbon standpoint, is becoming is going to become paramount. And that was kind of the fundamentals behind what we're trying to do here. So.
And we see it with clients. You know, we worked a lot in the tech industry, and then we saw the dripping effect on the other main suppliers. The same in the auto industry, where we see the main suppliers getting to net zero because the client is asking for it at the end of the day. And so and you can name it. I mean, every sector is just moving, because the imperative from the investor is there, from the final consumer is there, from employees is there, the pressure is everywhere. And so it's moving super fast.
And finally, my final question is just, by developing a tool that allows this to be standardized and more transparent, is that going to kind of is it going to hold companies to account if they are talking the talk, but not walking the walk on tackling climate change?
I think it's going to contribute to it for sure. It's not a silver bullet by any means. It's a complement, as Matthias was saying, to really accurate and strong measurement of your own footprint. But it's a very useful complement. And what we're trying to do, and the reason why, as Matthias said, we included third parties, other industrials, and are now embedding it as a work stream within the WBCSD work. So really continuing that process, including with working with norms institutions and so on, is the intent to make this more and more rigorous, so that this is truly becoming a very reliable tool. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you both so much for talking with me, and I look forward to catching up in the future to finding out more about the success of the tool and what it's helped achieve.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.